Oh, hey, it's you guys. Sorry about that. Hey, nice to see you all. Welcome to the Heavy Leather Horror Show, Home Edition, Quarantine Week 5. And it's time for another episode of Witch Watch.
There's a white witch, there's a black witch, baby, which is a witch, which is a witch. There's a white witch, there's a black witch, baby, which is a witch, which is a witch.
Well, you know how it goes. Every week I present you with another Hot Witch movie, and I got one this week I think you're really going to like. So let's get right to it. We're going all the way back. Go back with us to 1942. World War II is raging. Bing Crosby is America's most beloved entertainer. Napalm is invented. Duct tape, very important, is invented. A new house will cost you $4,000. And one of the greatest Hot Witch movies of all time is released. This film was directed by a French director named René Clair, and it was based on a novel called The Passionate Witch by Thorne Smith. And even almost 80 years after release, it's still as charming and engaging as ever. I am talking, of course, about I Married a Witch. I Married a Witch stars Frederick March and Veronica Lake. Frederick March was a very popular actor at the time, probably most well known for 1931's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Veronica Lake, on the other hand, was a relative newcomer, but had made a big splash in the previous couple of years doing film noirs like This Gun Is for Hire and The Glass Key. She was relatively small, 4'11", but she packed a lot of personality into that small frame. She was known to be feisty and argumentative, maybe a little too feisty and argumentative for Hollywood. It cut her career pretty short. And she was most well known at the time, and still to this day, for her haircut, which was her hair, her blonde hair, swooped in front of her right eye. That was the Veronica Lake. It's still the Veronica Lake, as a matter of fact. I first became aware of Veronica Lake somewhere in the 80s when I got a videotape, VHS tape, of Flesh Feast, which was her last film. Flesh Feast was made in 1970. It's a weird, low-budget gore film about Nazis trying to resurrect Hitler. It's pretty neat for early gore effects and stuff. But anyway, it starred Veronica Lake. She also co-produced it. It was supposed to be her big comeback after decades away from motion pictures. Didn't really work out that way, but it's still an interesting artifact for that. So basically what happened is that her behavior got her blackballed from Hollywood by 1951. And by the early 60s, she was working as a cocktail waitress in Manhattan. And she would tell people, when she's serving them drinks, hey, I'm Veronica Lake. Of course, nobody would even believe her. Anyway, after Flesh Feast, that was her last appearance. Things just didn't work out for Veronica Lake. She struggled with alcoholism her entire life, and in 1973, she died of kidney failure. Oh boy. Let's just get to the movie. By the way, Frederick March was 45 when they shot it. Veronica Lake, 24. So that weird ageism, sexism thing was happening even back then. It's Salem, where we are right now, by the way. Circa 16-something. A witch named Jennifer and her dad are being burned at the stake after being denounced by a Puritan named Jonathan Woolley. By the way, were there witches named Jennifer in 1690-something? I don't know. But there was in this motion picture. They are buried under a cherry tree in order to keep their evil spirits in place. If this actually did happen in Salem, we didn't burn them. We hung them. But if we did, right now, if you wanted to go find the spot, it's a Walgreens on Proctor. Go check it out. In revenge, Jennifer curses Woolley and all of his descendants, dooming them to never have a happy romantic relationship ever. And so we see a montage of unhappy relationships for the Woolley clan until it brings us to modern day, which was at the time 1942. Wallace Woolley, played by Frederick March, is running for governor of Massachusetts. You see him in the first scene in a sort of ballroom kind of situation, having a speech, and he's with his fiancée, Estelle Masterson. She is not happy with him. He is not happy with her. But of course, that's the way that this curse works. By the way, Estelle is played by Susan Hayward, who you may remember from Valley of the Dolls, particularly when she gets into a fight with Patty Duke. Patty Duke rips off her wig. Have you ever seen Valley of the Dolls? It's amazing. You gotta check that one out. While this ball is going on, across town, lightning strikes the tree in which the spirits are encased, and they get free. And they start roaming the countryside, slowly picking up what's happening in society 300 years later, trying to understand the new ways, the new social mores, and even the new slang.
What's knitting, kitten? You like to cut a rug?
Let's stitch these, Icky. How about going to heaven in your jalopy?
That's solid, Jackson. Now you're cooking on the front burner.
What language is that, Father?
I don't know, but we'll learn it.
So they figure out where Wallace is and decide, let's get revenge on him in particular. So they come up with a plan. And the plan is that Jennifer will go and find a body, get Wally to fall in love with her, and then spurn his advances, tormenting him forever, which is a pretty decent plan. So in order to do that, first she has to find a body. She picks a body, and she picks his Veronica Lake, which, yeah, it's an excellent choice. Then they light a whole building on fire, a hotel, just so when he's passing by, he can go in there, save her from the burning building, not knowing that she, in fact, set the building ablaze. And the plan works perfectly.
Quick, it's our only chance.
I want to fix my hair.
Come on, while you still have a head.
Do you like blondes?
So, after these weird circumstances, Wallace tries to get back to his life. He's a very busy guy. He's got a lot to do. He's got to become the governor. He's got to marry Estelle. However, he is flummoxed by this kooky chick who keeps popping up in his life, eating waffles and whatnot. And, keeps throwing her out, trying to get back on track, and it's just not working out for him. It's not working out for Jennifer either, because he's not falling in love with her fast enough. So she calls up her dad, and they brew up a love potion. But here's what happens. Just when she's about to give him the love potion, she gets bonked on the head, and unfortunately, she ends up drinking the love potion, and now she's in love with him. What a mix-up.
Come here. Oh, you. Here, drink it.
So, she calls her dad to help her out again. It's Wallace's wedding day, and she wants to go fuck that up. So, she arrives with her dad, and Wallace, he's just trying to get through the day. Marry this girl he doesn't really like, and become the governor. And Jennifer's dad starts a hurricane right in the wedding hall. Things really go from bad to worse at this wedding. All sorts of screwball comedy antics happen, and at the end, Estelle finds Wally kissing Jennifer, and that's it. He's through. His goose is cooked.
This will not only cost you the election, but I'll encourage the voters of this state to tear you limb from limb. I'll head a tower and fed a body personally. When I'm through with you, you'll wish you'd never been born.
I love you truly.
Will you shut up?
Wally and Jennifer split, and with nothing else to lose, they go and get married at a justice of the peace and hole up at a little motel or cottage, bed and breakfast, let's say. While they're there, Jennifer tries to explain what's happening. She tries to let Wally know that she is in fact a witch and that he in fact just married a witch. But of course, he thinks she's just goofing.
Wally, doesn't it seem strange to you, the way we met?
It's all been like a dream.
It was witchcraft.
That's it, of course.
You see, Wally,
It's getting late.
but I want you to know what I am.
All right. All right, what are you?
I'm a witch.
A witch? I knew it all the time.
You did?
Of course. I've been under your spell since the moment I met you.
Then it doesn't matter? You don't mind being married to a witch?
I love it.
I'll try so hard to be a good wife, and I'll only use witchcraft to help you.
What could you do, for instance?
Well, I could make you win the election tomorrow.
Oh, it would take witchcraft to do that.
I think I can manage it.
Fine, fine.
After all, I'm not just an ordinary witch. My family dates back to the days of Pompeii.
Were you mixed up in that?
My father was. Ever hear of the decline and fall of the Roman Empire? That was our crowd.
You're marvelous. Now, seriously, dear, do you like to sleep on the left side or the right side?
In order to prove that she is actually a witch, Jennifer tells Wally that she'll fix the election so that he can become governor. And he tells her, listen, if you can make me governor, then you must be a witch because my name is Mud in this town. And so the next morning they wake up to a very different world than the one the night before. Find out what happens when you watch I Married a Witch. I Married a Witch is a great, great movie. It's energetic, it's funny, it's romantic, all that jazz. One thing that I think is really interesting about this movie too is that Frederick March and Veronica Lake really did not get along. In fact, they kind of hated each other. Frederick March thought that she was an amateur and that she was unprofessional, and she kind of was. And in return, Veronica Lake played like all kinds of practical jokes on him. Like in the part when he had to carry her through the burning building, she put a bunch of weights under her dress so that she would be too heavy for him to carry. Stuff like that. And she would show up late every day on the set. So she did make it tough on everybody. However, watching it, you can't tell any of that. They really do seem charmed and enchanted by each other throughout the film, which is really fun to watch. Now, granted, I'm a middle-aged guy, and middle-aged guys have some weird affection for old-timey actors and actresses. I don't know how that happens. It doesn't happen right away. It happens with time. However, what I am telling you is that forget about black and white 1942. You're going to like this movie. It's not slow. It's not talky. It's a really fun movie. As far as the witchcraft goes, it's not really witchcraft. It's just magic. You know what I mean? They're just goofing. It's just making it up. It's cartoon witchcraft. As far as what kind of hot witch we're talking about, of course we're talking about swoopy-haired hot witch, Veronica Lake. Great movie. I encourage everybody to check it out. Hold on. I have the Criterion Blu-ray right here, which has a really nice print, but you can find it anywhere. I think it's on Amazon for $3 or $4, and it's well worth it. So there you go, everybody. This week's Witch Watch. I Married a Witch. Until next time, obviously, hail Satan. Stay healthy. Please stay 6 feet away from me, and I'll see you next time on Witch Watch. By the way, Facebook.com/Heavy Leather Horror Show. Also, by the way, this t-shirt glows in the dark. Can't show you because there's lights on. But if they were all out, it would glow. Pretty cool. See you next time.